one of the most important ones, I think, is the opportunity to create, strengthen, and in some cases repair the relationships that academia and institutions of higher education have had with civil society and our community partners. I think we have, unfortunately, a history of that we do need to redress, where academics have gone in to use communities and community partners and for their purposes only, and then to leave. And we have, I think, an opportunity and a responsibility to change that.
I think the benefits, certainly for students, are the idea of inculcating more of a notion of the common good, of citizenship, of them actually participating, of doing work in the community that has some meaning, that they're not simply writing an assignment or turning an assignment to their professor, but rather they're trying to do something that has some benefit to a community organization, to a neighborhood, to people outside of the university.
Part of what community engaged learning offers is the benefit to help students be prepared for their life and their engagement with their communities as lifelong learners and actors.
We have two cultures, or multiple cultures. So the university is a very powerful institution that creates its own cultural environment. And then we have organizations that we may want to work with or partner with that have their own organizational environment. How do we begin to build relationship across those cultures? How do we begin to communicate across differences? How do we begin to deal with timetabling and scheduling and even the logistics of it?
There's increasing pressure and a need to actually spend time on the process of helping students understand what community engagement is and how to do it in an ethical, principled way. And yet we work in a structure with 12 weeks to a term, generally speaking, and there just isn't time to do everything you want to do on both the content side and the process side. I think one of the biggest challenges to trying to do community engaged learning in large undergraduate courses is not being able to do it in a way that aligns with the principles underlying community engagement and community engaged learning. I've developed this model called community-focused learning, and deliberately have changed the name because I think what I'm able to do with 400 or 500 first-year students in a large lecture hall is not actually community engaged. And so the language of focused is important to me, because I think that the model suggests that what we're doing, we don't have time or the skill to really develop and negotiate relationships and partnerships, but we can put our mind to focusing on what a particular community organization or partner is doing and what they think is important and what they value.
To do this at a first or a second year level, I think, requires a high degree of preparation. I don't think we can simply turn students loose. My approach that I'm going to experiment with next term is the idea that citizenship begins at home, that we'll look at experiential learning, community-engaged learning by looking at our own community, the University of Concordia, as a starting point. And in that, I'm inspired by the notion of universities as focusing on teaching, research, and service. And I'm reconfiguring service to be citizenship. I think it's something that we may be losing in our overall vision of what the university can do. The theory behind the course is that we're going to try and put first-year students who are just coming in, give them training in information literacy, but ask them to apply that knowledge and that training to experiencing and researching and looking at how our Senate-approved research units at Concordia are engaging with the here and now, the time and place we find ourselves. So in a way, we're saying, how is research at Concordia modeling citizenship? How is it engaging with the challenges that we all face today? And how might our students become involved in that research and test drive their information literacy skills?
One of the reasons that I really wanted to start trying to come up with a model that I could use in first year is I think it creates opportunities to simply introduce students to the language and the values related to community engagement.
The truth is, it's really messy, emergent work, and we have to trust process. So we have to shift the culture so that we're looking at process-based learning more than product-based learning and the results. We're concentrating on each individual's arc of learning and how do we help them be better learners. And I think the professoriate has to go along on the ride. If we think we have the answers, we're probably not really, shouldn't really be doing this kind of work.